are here. Ooh. We are here. All right. Yeah, try it. I'll figure it out one day. All right. What's up, y'all? It is Sunday, March 19th, 2023. Welcome to the Zodiac chat line. Oh, woo! Sweet Jeebus and the little one too. My name is Today. I'm your host, and as always, Cassie is here with me. It's a Zodiac chat line. Trying this again. Let's hope this works. What's up, y'all? Happy Sunday. All the spicy planets, all the spicy things are happening.
It's real. How are you today?
That's the best I got. You know what? I'm okay, but it's a lot going on. I am excited for Aries season in spring, but how you been?
Blessed to see another day on the planet. I'm pretty good, living COVID part due. And generally a little nervous about the stuff that's coming down the pike as far as the planets go. Although I don't know why, because every single day we're inundated with terrible news. So it's sort of like, what's gonna happen? You know what I mean? Like, oh, some white supremacists are gonna riot somewhere. Somebody's gonna do a mass shooting. Somebody's gonna, there's gonna be some kind of natural disaster. Well, that's just a Tuesday in America, is how it feels like. So, that's where I'm at.
Okay. So we're at the same spot, praying for the best.
Right.
So we are gonna start by talking about the state of the world today. And there's so much. That's how I feel. There's so much. Okay, so one of the things that I did begin to start to research was all of the states that have decided to create or pass bills that limited abortion care services or banned gender affirming services for minors. And currently we have Nebraska. There is legislature on their state books, but there is a wonderful senator by the name of Michaela Cavanaugh who is filibustering the entire thing because she completely agrees how ridiculous this is. And girl, she's got everybody says she has 3 kids. She can wait. She can wait. We also have Kentucky that passed its ban, and it actually slipped through without even having a discussion. Tulsa, Oklahoma also passes a ban for gender reaffirming care for minors. Texas has a similar bill as well. And good old Florida. He's got
never to be outdone in fuckery.
Why wouldn't Satan want to continue to burn Florida? HB 999. Please look these up. Look it up. It is so ridiculous, so despicable. It is absolutely disgusting that someone would be like, I'm going to take out any bit of diversity, any bit of anything that says that is not Christian, white, conservative views. They can no longer be taught in college.
Because we have no bigger problems.
No.
There's nothing else we need to be worried about as a nation. Our biggest threat is teens who would rather be called they than she. That's the biggest worry on all of our mind. Drag queens.
Oh,
drag
I was just about to say,
want to read.
We forgot about the drag queens in
libraries.
Nashville. That's right, Nashville, Tennessee. What?
Oh, the whole ass state of Tennessee.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Tennessee as a whole, really, drag queens are a detriment to children, even though you're grooming them. There is, let's see, you can marry children in certain states. You're not passing gun laws against children in those states, but we're worried about drag queens reading stories. Like,
yeah,
guys.
let's not legislate guns, which are the number one killer of children in the United States. Number one, more than cancer, more than car accidents, more than fucking, I don't know, the flu or whatever the fuck else kids are dying from. Nope, it's guns. Can't piss off the NRA. Let's go after, you know, the fiercest bitches out here who are just trying to read the fucking Curious George, you know, on a Sunday afternoon. Like, and the accusation of grooming is so dumb, and it's not dumb. It's dumb the way that they apply it. And it's really terrible because it's actually rendered that completely meaningless. And if you look up what grooming is, it is a repetitive act that is steering, in this case, a child toward a certain direction. This is done by youth pastors. It's done by stepdads. It's done by older cousins. It's done by coaches, team doctors, teachers. I mean, you know, there's all kinds of walks of life and places where harmful, monstrous people know that they are going to be interacting with children on a repeated basis, and that gives them the opportunity to groom. A drag queen who is reading your kid a story one time, by definition, can't fucking groom your kid for shit. That person is only interacting with your child one time in a public place, and you're there. It's not the same fucking thing. It makes no sense. What they don't like is that your kid might appreciate gay culture. That's what,
or just like a book, or just like, oh my God, look at this pretty lady reading a book, because we are putting all of these sexual ideas. You're talking about grooming, but you're like putting that on children. As far as like, I'm queer, but it wasn't my mom was straight, my dad was straight, but those queer ideas, that wasn't put into my head. That's who I am. I didn't need a drag queen to read a book to me and go, I think I'm going to be gay today. Like that. That doesn't work. Like, no. It doesn't work like that. And when you use fear and you use really like, I think the biggest thing is just like the wide range of extreme falsehoods that you create about what drag queens, like how that is interaction happens with children. It's like a kid going to Disney World when somebody's playing dress up. That's basically what it is. And you don't see them like, you know, looking at the Disney princess, you know, it's just, it shouldn't matter, because it only matters because you're distracting us from all the other reasons why. Because if you cared about kids, we'd care about all the kids whose food stamps are going to be cut soon. We would care about the kids who don't have food when they go to school. We would care about the kids who are in abusive relationships in their homes because their parents don't have anything. We care about the kids who are in poverty. Like, care about the kids that are here. That's it. Like, really care about them, and keep them away from youth pastors, keep them away from actually being groomed and allowing them to be. But the problem is that when you start to allow children to think for themselves, they realize that what you're teaching them is bullshit and they don't want to hear it anymore. And the other term that grooming, as you said, grooming, the other thing that is really pissing me off right now is the term woke. Because they, and everybody knows the they I'm talking about, it ain't us, they have taken this term to mean something that it doesn't even mean. And to me, it's a replacement for Black people. It's a replacement for anything that is not a conservative, white, Christian, very, very right-winged view on this is everything should be black and white. And and the craziest part, I was thinking about this the other day because I had a situation, but we won't go into that. about the ability of straight white men being able to just exist. No one ever questions their existence. No one ever tells them that their existence is wrong. No one ever judges how they exist, even if they exist in the forms of Jeffrey Dahmer, even if they exist in the forms of Ted Bundy, even anybody, Donald Trump, even nobody. There are people still praising this man who's getting arrested by Tuesday on the way. Anyway, but they are still praising white men to allow them to do whatever they want in their space. But white men are like, nobody else can, just us. So
yeah. So how does this relate to our current planetary clusterfuck? Let's talk about, so where are we? Where are we now?
In the throes of Hades. Okay, so seriously though. Okay, so let's do a quick little, this is my favorite part. Okay, so Pluto, our planet of transformation, has been in Capricorn since 2008. All of you should remember 2008. That was the beginning of the housing market crash, the recession, and was that Obama's first presidency or second?
Yes, first. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that was in the beginning of Pluto and Capricorn. We have now seen, let's see, a pandemic, multiple mass shootings. We have seen a bank crash. We have seen insurrections. We have seen police brutality. We have seen racism at an all-time high, all the way through Pluto in Capricorn. And Capricorn represents authority, and it's ruled by Saturn, which is structure, and they consider it the daddy planet, which any kind of authority, any kind of male figures are usually represented by Capricorn or Saturn energy. And so all of the structures that we know as what were authorities to us have been completely attempted to be transformed, and I say attempted, in the last 20 some odd years when Pluto's been in Capricorn. Now Pluto is moving to Aquarius in just a couple days, and we will get a quick look, and it'll be there for a couple months. I actually did all of the transitions for how Pluto is transitioning from Capricorn to Aquarius throughout this year. But we will be moving into Aquarius for about 2 or 3 months, and we will get a chance to see what the collective is going to do in order to transform and change, because Aquarius rules the 11th house of groups, humanity, and the collective as a whole. And I think we needed Pluto to transform in Capricorn first to tear down all of those structures that were not working, to come together as a group, because as everyone is watching knows, the planet ain't got much time. And what did you say earlier, Cassie? It's either
I said that it's all of us or none of us at this point. That's what's happening. And it's interesting, like, okay, so, stepping back a little bit. So we've had Pluto in Capricorn, and Capricorn in general is like one man's ambition, right? It's like an individual on a quest to succeed. It's very America. We're all about the individual, me, my thing, competition, clawing our way to the top. This is not a way of thinking that we can continue with. It isn't. Like, the planet's not gonna let us. Like, literally, the earth is trying desperately to rid itself of human beings because we are a fucking plague on it, okay? And like, climate change is here. It's here. In addition to all of the fuckery Tanae mentioned at the top of the hour, there's also been the 9th, 10th, and 11th atmospheric rivers in California. There was a giant nor'easter that dropped 48 inches of snow on New York, and 200,000 people were without power. I lost power twice during 2 giant blizzards here in Michigan. There are tornadoes in the South. Like, there is a massive seaweed twice as big as the United States that's about to swallow Florida. Like, this shit is fucked up. And if we're going to survive the Pluto and Aquarius period, which is from 2023 with some backtracking up till 2046, we are going to have to do some work together, my friends, together. Like, it's not about one of us. It's not about Elon Musk. It's about motherfucking all of us. Like, that's it. this is our last shot. Like Pluto and Aquarius is our last shot at this.
Because the last time Pluto was in Aquarius was during the American and French Revolutions. How ironic is that? And I'm going to be honest, I wasn't really like, I knew that they existed, but I wanted to know exactly why both the American and the French Revolution happened. And you want to know something funny? It's an interesting concept because it seems to be happening all over again. It was because political and ideologically, the Americans that revolted and the French that revolted were against the government controlling all of them. So it's just quite appropriate that now America, and hitting our Pluto return, as we spoke about, is now going through a transformation and another revolution. And with that, here in the United States, there are whispers of a TikTok ban to maintain our privacy. We all know that's not what it is. We all know that that TikTok has opened everyone up to a plethora of what? Knowledge, access to knowledge all over the world, whether it's true or false, but more knowledge and things that are happening in France right now. They are revolting and protesting over them raising the retirement age. I think England just went on a protest as well. Like, people are not playing anymore. It is time to let the government know that we're just not doing this with y'all. We can't. We're not going to.
No, and we're gonna, Aquarius is a sign that forces us out of our habits and our ways of thinking, and it both encourages it, but it also is going to be like, oh, you're not going to do it, or you're not doing it fast enough, or you're not doing it enough. Like, so expect
unpredictable.
These next 23 years are going to be full of a lot of abrupt shifts that are going to be probably extremely challenging, but if done well, and if we rise to the highest version of ourselves, we can transform things for the better. Like we should not lose hope. But it's not going to be easy, and it's not going to be pretty.
No, it's Pluto. There is nothing easy. And Pluto is the current, rules Scorpio. And any of my Scorpio peeps out there, whether sun, moon, or rising, y'all know there is nothing pretty about Pluto's transformation. Any eighth housers out there, that transformation is painful. It is not for the faint at heart, but the rebirth, because it's a phoenix rising, and I feel like we are highly capable of doing a rebirth because it's necessary. Our culture, our society has changed. The makeup of it has changed, whether it be racially, gender-wise, whatever. Everybody should be allowed to be themselves and be free. Like, there is no reason why one person should tell somebody else they can't exist because they don't understand or agree with it. You don't have to, but that person is breathing. They're here. They're here. So don't be around them. Don't read the books. Like, I just don't fucking get it. Like, I'm just how hard is it? I don't want to watch that. Turn that shit off then. Like, what the hell? I don't want to see a lot of things. You know what I do? I don't watch them. I personally don't watch any videos that have happened with police brutality. I just can't. I am not the person that is able to forget it. I will absorb it. So you know what I don't do? I don't watch that shit. And I can't be mad that I'm not going to watch it and then get mad. I don't want to watch it. So just take a look. What if in this world, we went to all the conservatives and go, well, you got to be a liberal. I don't even think that's the thing. The difference is that the people on the right, the more left, more liberal, aren't asking conservatives to be liberal. We're just asking you to shut the fuck up and back up and don't worry about this. If you want to have your little, go ahead, do your life, but allow other people to live theirs, because we let you live yours freely. Freely, and you impose your shit on other people. So that's all my thing. Like, don't impose your life on me because you don't know me like that, and I don't want you to.
Right.
But with that said, Pluto will go into Aquarius this week. I believe it's on Thursday, the 23rd. Is that Thursday or Wednesday? One of those.
It is on Thursday, the 23rd. Yeah. So we have a lot happening this week. We just passed this past Thursday on the 16th, Venus moved into Taurus. So that's giving us a nice little heart hug for this rough period we're about to enter. Out of
Aries with all this Aries energy coming.
Today, Mercury moved into Aries. Tomorrow, the sun moves into Aries. It's also the spring equinox. We'll talk about that later. Tuesday is the new moon in Aries and the first new moon in Aries, which that's a whole other story. And then Thursday, we've got Pluto moving into Aquarius, and Saturday, Mars moves into Cancer.
And Jupiter is still in Aries as well. So,
yeah.
We are just spicing it up.
It's spicy. There's a lot going on this week. The Pluto, we talked a lot about Pluto because that's the biggest one. And it's going to be, so it's very interesting. We started Pluto in Capricorn on a banking financial crisis. We're wrapping it up right there. Started it out with, burial bombs and Joe Biden getting into the White House. We're ending it with old Grandpa Joe still up in there fucking doing shit. His Scorpio self, I just want him to channel his darkest energy, just shit all over these conservatives.
What they call him, Dark Brandon? Don't they call him Dark
Brandon? Call him Dark Brandon energy. And we are going to bounce back, and Pluto is going to retrograde into Capricorn for a few months this summer, right about the time that the US is supposed to default on its national debt. So everybody buckle up for that. That's going to be a hot mess.
That will be in mid-June. So from now until May, just enjoy the Pluto in Aquarius. And honestly, I think if any grassroots issues, because I feel like all of these are it's going to be very much local grassroots. It's been very interesting to watch a lot of local people go and protest these bills in their local government. And that's really what it's going to take, is that it's going to take your local government, going to your local government here in Atlanta, Cop City. That's a whole nother conversation we really don't want to have, but keep your prayers for that area and the people in that area, because it does not look good that they're going to get bulldozed over for $90 million. But but we're gonna introduce
on that note.
Lovely, we found, guys, of course we did, we found 2 Aries that we love and want to give so much attention to because they love it, they need it. The first person I'm going to bring on is a fine young man that I met a couple months, maybe like a year ago. And this man, if you want to get fit, that's what you need to do. He's extra saucy, and he is that guy. We're gonna join us as Roy Bean and Cassie.
Oh, sure. Our second guest tonight is a man that Tanae and I have known for many years now. A former boss of mine, dare I say, one of my favorites, present company, excluded. A feisty, fabulous, cool ass soul from the South, takes no shit, spicing it up, Mr. Matty L. I'm not gonna go with his government
he got
name.
He got his government all
got
up
your government name on your background. Never mind.
Come on.
Hey.
Hello. Thank you guys so much for joining us today.
Yes.
Thank you for having us.
Welcome. So for this Aries season, our theme is courage. That is the word that we decided best describes Aries. So our definition for courage is the state or quality of mind or spirit that enables one to face danger, fear, or change with self-possession, confidence, and resolution. Cassie found that one, y'all.
Okay.
That's hot. That's hot.
I know.
So we're going to talk about that. Cassie's going to start us off with the first question.
Yeah. So the first question that came to my mind for you guys, throw it out there, is what was your most courageous moment?
Who do you want to go first?
Whoever speaks up, you now. You opened your mouth, so now you're stuck
I'm gonna throw
answering.
it out there. It was a toss up between two, and one was when I was in high school and I came out to my friends and my family and parents as being gay. But I think the one that was more difficult that I called my second coming out was when I went public with my HIV status, when I got diagnosed with HIV and kind of let everybody know, like, hey, here's the deal. This is what's going on. There's nothing to be afraid of, nothing to be scared of, but this is my life now, and I want to be open about it, and I want to talk about it. I don't want people to be like, "That's not, he has cancer." You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't want it to be like a whisper down the hallway type thing. So, like, if I did get sick, people are like, "Hey, what's going on? Is it this or is it this?" Or, how are your meds working? I wanted it to be an open conversation and dialogue about that.
Thank you for sharing that.
That's extremely brave. And yes, thank you for sharing that.
Mr. Roy?
My most courageous moment, man, it's collectively over time, because these moments happen multiple times, but packing my family up and moving to another city 2 hours away for a job that did not hire me.
Oh, wow.
At the moment, they didn't hire me at the moment. They hired me 2 years later after the move. So, just and I say it's a collective bunch of moments, because my wife knows there's always been a time where I'll be like, all right, it's time to move. I always move when it's time to move, whether it's from a job, whether it's from people, whether it's from an environment. When I feel like it's time to move, it's not just an emotional thing. It's not oh, somebody pissed me off today, I want to quit. Like, I know when it is time to remove myself from a situation. So, like I say, packing my kids up, packing my wife up, and being like, all right, we gonna move. This job is not moving us here. I'm moving for this job. That was like the most courageous thing. And don't forget that I was a full-time FedEx driver also. So leaving that to pursue this fitness journey, my wife was like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, what you mean you don't want to drive for FedEx no more, and you're gonna be a trainer? So yeah, that was like one of my most courageous things ever to do in my life.
All right.
Good answer.
Yeah, stepping away from the security of a job, like that really does.
Right.
It's hard. It's really hard.
We all like, ooh, all right.
Mm-hmm.
I will say this though, because he hit on something that is not me. He's like, oh, I didn't do it because I was emotional. I did it because the time was right. I'll be the one that's emotional, like, you pissed me off, bye, dude, and like, peace out.
No, but I'll be wanting to be like that though. Trust me, it's plenty of times I'll be wanting to be like, fuck y'all, I'm gone. But it's like I got 4 other people that's depending on me at the same time. So,
I'm not a 3 strikes you're out person. I'm a 1 strike and
you might not even get that full strike. Maddie might be seeing that. We ain't even gonna let you get that strike in. I'm out. Holla. Maddie will quit it out. Holla. I'm gonna stop you right there. I guess I'll go. I would have to say, honestly, is really just living myself and being myself, being like a masculine presenting like queer person, queer woman of color, especially. I feel like just my existence is courageous. I know that seems extreme, but that's how I feel. Because just of all of like being a woman of color, being queer and masculine presenting, like not necessarily strikes, but everybody judges everybody. That's just human nature. But to be confident in why I am who I am and how I just live my life. And I love to trigger people that don't like it. So that's why I'm being courageous. And do every time.
Yep. Man, I don't know. It's hard for me. I always do this too. We come up with the questions and I know I'm going to have to answer them and I don't think about it ahead of time. And I'm really sitting here like, what? Because I think one of the times I think that in the moment it felt like it was really courageous, but in retrospect was just kind of like a duh, why wasn't I? Was when I was a senior in high school. I should say all through high school, I like really wanted to be liked. You know what I mean? Like I wanted people to like me. And I didn't want to stand out for any of the wrong reasons. And I got to my senior year and I realized that I would never have to see any of those people if I didn't want to again. And then I was just like, fuck it. I'm just going to be exactly who I am. And that was when I became cool. That's when people started to like me, was when I was who I was, not trying to be something else. And I was like, damn, it's all up. I could have been having a lot more fun. But I think that mine is similar to yours, Roy, which was choosing to move to Michigan and leave my career in the film industry in Atlanta, which I loved. And I knew I was not going to get back. Like I knew we weren't going to get that here. And it wasn't brave to move to Michigan because I grew up here. I knew what I was getting into as far as that goes, but it was like bringing my son and my husband along for the ride who'd never been here, and knowing that we were going to have to start at zero because we had no jobs lined up. And we did start at, like, I went back to working at a coffee shop. My husband was making $10 an hour at Kroger. I mean, it was bad. And like but we did what we had to do and it's worked out. But I also I some part of me knew that move had to happen. I knew it. And so I was like, I have to do this. Like I have to, and it's going to be hard. But yeah, so I think that would probably be the bigger challenge, I think.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Look how brave we all are. So encouraged. Look at us.
Great.
I mean, so look, Maddie, and I had this conversation with my wife. We talk a lot, man, but for you to come out during your generation, our generation, that ain't easy, man. We didn't come up in the social media era. So, for you to do it then, it's like, I know that shit was tough, dude. Like, now it's like a whole avenue for everybody now, but so
it was. That's why I said it was kind of a toss up between those two stories, because it was 1995.
Ooh.
I was in Cobb County, Georgia, which at the time was the most conservative county. I didn't know any other gay people at my school, so I didn't have someone to buddy up with and be like, "Hey, let's do this together,"
Right.
So. It just, but again, it's the timing. I knew it had to happen. Like I knew it was the time for it to happen and come out and whatever. Didn't even think about what the consequences would be down the road. It was like, this has to happen now and we'll just ride the wave afterward.
And look at you now.
That's right.
Okay. I like this one. Can courage be learned?
Absolutely. And I'll give an example of it. So I think courage can be found in little acts every day. And so standing up for injustice or standing up for an act of racism or something like that is an act of courage in a lot of different ways, in a lot of different areas, depending on where you are. So the little ones in the eyes of the generations below us that see you take that stand or take that step, I think can teach them that, oh, wait, hold on, this is, you can do this and you can say this and you can speak out and you can do these things. And I think that it, at least, if nothing else, plants a seed to where if someone had thought that they couldn't speak up before or they hadn't spoken up before, might feel more comfortable doing so in the future or might learn from that experience and grow from it and start being like, you know what, never again. I'm not going to be silent if that happens again. I'm going to say something.
Oh yeah.
I agree. Learned and drawn in from inspiration. You see someone else, and exactly what Maddie just said, literally, like inspired by what you see someone else do, that's courageous, and that gives you the courage to be that way.
Hmm. I'm
Yeah.
3 for 3 here. I agree. Yeah, like I think almost all emotions are a little bit contagious, you know, like if you can witness somebody, maybe for women, it's hard sometimes to know that it's okay to be angry. And so if you see like, you know, a female role model of yours who actually gets angry about something, you're like, oh, that is accessible to me. I think about like, you know, my son seeing other men get emotional, cry, or be emotionally expressive, and I want him to know, like, it's okay. You should be experiencing the full range of human emotions, you know, and but courage definitely, because it it's goes it's so hard to stand up to fear, and the fear that you have inside yourself is always the strongest. And so any opportunity you can see someone model, like, hey, you don't have to let the fear win, you don't have to let that fear silence you, it does it, like you said, it plants a seed, and you're just like, oh, okay, all right. And that those seeds grow whether we acknowledge them or not, and the moment, you know, the moment comes out to test them, I think.
I think it's instinctual. I think that courage is triggered by adversity. And that's when you know you have to, like, something happens to you outside of you and you have to respond to it with courage. And so I feel like that creates an instinct of like fight or flight or protection, of being courage and being stepping outside yourself, happening, and just really being assured and like standing up for. I think it's really just like having the courage to speak out, like using that adversity as an instinct to be like, I can't do this. Because I think that fear, like you said, Cassie, is just so devastating sometimes, because it paralyzes you from being courageous.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Want me to throw one out there?
Yeah, girl, that's on you.
All right. So I'm curious about this too. Kind of the flip side of the first question is, can you think of a time that you wished you would have shown courage, or that you regretted maybe not doing what in hindsight would have been the more courageous thing?
Yeah, girl, I want to go first on this one.
Oh, all right.
Because I was waiting. Okay, so there's one time I was working for this one place, and there were other people that were working for this one place that really tried to make my life a living hell on purpose. It was oddly enough during my Saturn return, but I just really felt very unsupported by those other people in the situation. But I did have a wonderful group of people that I worked with, and they made it so much easier. But it was just me not standing up for myself more and being more assertive with how I felt about how I was being treated. I felt like in that moment and in the situation that I was in, being the only woman of color manager in this situation, that I wasn't really allowed to speak up, and I was just treated very differently. And so I wish I had just like told them to fuck off, but we're here now.
Have a very similar situation and story at a place that I worked for a very long extended period of time, that I should have told to fuck off way, like day 2, and I didn't. So yeah, no, I'm with you. Like, I'm sorry I didn't stand up for myself and for others more often, and I'm sorry that I didn't do it sooner. That I thought I was trapped and I didn't have any other way out, or if I had done something, that fear set in, that like, what am I going to do if I don't have this job? Mm-hmm. And I stayed at that job for a very, very long time, and met some of the most amazing people I know today.
Right. I love how Maddie and I are like saying it, but not. Okay, you guys are next. Because if you know, you know. What'd you say, Mr.
For
Roy?
me, I mean, mine is work related also, and it goes to that big risk that I took. I wish that I had taken the risk years earlier, and I didn't because of fear and I was scared. But I'm also a firm believer in patience is a virtue. So as well as the universe and everything happens when it's supposed to happen. But I knew that it was going to happen. I just didn't know when I was going to be courageous enough to do it. So I used to tell my wife all the time, like, hey, I'm going to be a full-time trainer. I'm just going to do this. You're going to be in a hospital. Because at the time she was in the medical field and stuff. I was like, I'm going to be a stay-at-home dad. You just going to do, like, everything happened. It just didn't happen when I thought it was going to happen, but I wish that I had done it years earlier. And it's like, my life could have been a little bit more fast forwarded, where I was and be where I thought I was going to be at rather than where I'm at now. But everything happens for a reason. But yeah, I just wish that I had done it because I always felt it. I just didn't, I was too damn scared to do it.
Not an Aries being scared. What'd you say?
It's funny for me to hear another Aries say that patience is a virtue because I have absolutely zero patience for anything. Like zero, zip, zilch. And none of my other Aries friends do either. Like we're just like, come on, let's go. Now, what are you doing?
Well, see, I'm gonna say this. I have patience for what I want to have patience for. So I'm just like that. Like I got zero patience as well. But if it's something that I really want, I'm gonna be patient for it.
Okay.
It's that Scorpio moon talking.
Wait it out, baby.
Right.
If anybody is going to be a stalker or will patiently wait you out until the end of time, it will be a Scorpio, especially a Scorpio moon.
Facts. So mine is actually I can think of like one for sure incident, and I know that there are others in my life that I just don't remember as vividly, but like standing up for like against people are usually not egregiously racist to other white people in front of me because they know that I'm not racist, but like seeing microaggressions and not saying something about it. Like the incident I'm thinking of was a boss of mine in a big employment situation, and we're out, it was filmed. So like we're out on a tech scout or whatever. There's a whole bunch of people, and she like went up to one of the beautiful Black girls and women in the locations department. She's younger than me, but a woman, and was like, oh, I love your hair, and like dinked with her braids, and I was just like, oh, like, and I should just been like, don't do that. Don't touch her hair, but like in that moment, I just like cringed and like didn't say anything. And, the young woman was so sweet and was just like, oh, thank you. And in my head, I was just like, you shouldn't have to just, this is all so bad. And it's that's just it should be incumbent on white people to call other white people out in those moments, and we shouldn't the people of color should not bear that burden, and so that's going forward something I'm more mindful of. And
every Black woman that just heard you tell that story did the same thing I did. She did what? Like,
I know
you even think
think
about like playing in a Black person's hair, reaching for their hair, touching their hair, you will lose all hair. Like, what? No, like,
and what's
I know.
crazy is that that's not even a white to Black thing. That's even Black man to a Black woman. Like, I can't just put my hand in a Black woman's hair and play with it and stuff, so yeah. It was all just bad. And so that's where I was like, well, that was
fucking shitty of me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I felt afterward, I was like, I fucking wish I would have said something to her. Like,
But you know, like, it takes a moment of recognition to know that, like, okay, that's something I have to be aware of. Like, I had a conversation with one of my managers about something, and like, he wasn't aware because it doesn't affect him. But the moment that I made him aware, like, it does affect somebody else, the recognition makes all the difference. So at this point, like, if you ever saw somebody going like this, you'd be like, whoa, 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 can you, right, slap it back. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's pretty cool. All right, gentlemen, whose courage do you admire?
Who?
Whose
You go
courage
first.
do you admire? Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna take mine to the animation, man. Optimus Prime.
Tell me
That's
why
my
Optimus
name.
Prime. I need to know.
I
Tell me.
mean, one, this who I am, this, in the fitness world. But I was doing this personal training session one time, man, and one of the girls I was training, she just used to gas me up so much, but she was such a believer, and everybody I trained before I moved, they were the same way. And she was like, man, you like Optimus Prime, like you just always transforming lives and leading by example and stuff. And I was like, I never looked at it like that, and all my sons, we love all of the Marvel movies, all the Transformers, all of that stuff. So, seeing Optimus show up late like I do sometimes, uh, but but lay himself down for everybody else and lead by example. That's pretty much me, man. And doing all these boot camps and stuff, like everybody I train, no matter what city I'm in, no matter what gym I'm in, they do whatever I say because I've been told that I command without demanding. And that's like what I see a lot of from Optimus. Like, don't nobody fuck with Optimus, man. He don't walk around like he the shit, but he the shit. And so that's how I feel.
I mean, you look like you work out a little bit, so I would be stupid not to listen to you. I would beat up Pinto. I would beat up Pinto, not the Optimus Prime. What about you, Maddie?
I wish I had an answer that fine.
I know. I know. I'm like, wah, wah. Well, we can move to the next question. I'm just kidding.
Honestly, I think my best friend Lisa, who is also an Aries, her birthday is April 15th, and we've been best friends since like 9th grade. She is the epitome of fearless. Like she's the dance like no one's watching, that, like, whatever that saying is, like, whatever. She is just amazing. And like she had a job in the corporate world. Well, starting out, she's a single kid. She moved from Atlanta to go to school in Washington, D.C. by herself. Went from D.C., moved all the way to San Francisco, got a job out there by herself, lived out there, like, while, the majority of my friends were all still kind of somewhat close located to family units somewhere. And she's like, bye, peace out. But, she started a family out there. She had a job in corporate America, and one day was like, you know what? I fucking hate this. It's sucking the soul out of me. I want to be a photographer. And she started taking classes, and she started taking these webinars and going to conferences. And literally now she is an award-winning photographer. She's been in National Geographic several times. She has gallery shows, like, just it's absolutely phenomenal. But like, I don't know what her internal struggle is, but I talk with her almost daily, and never once has she not shown any type of fear or like doubt in herself. Like, if she's shown doubt, it's been in maybe some other areas, but like when it comes to like just her living her life, she just fucking lives her life. And I'm so envious of her because there's so many parts of that I admire and I wish I had the courage to do, and I don't, and I still don't to this day. And one day I'll get there, maybe. But
all in due time.
She's an inspiration to me all the time.
Hell yeah. I love that. You want me to go?
I can go.
Okay.
So I'll do someone I don't know, but who I do admire from afar. And we talk about her a lot. And I love her is Megan the Stallion. I really do. I admire her so much. She's awesome. Like, she's an incredible MC. She just, she's like taller than me, big, like tall, big woman, just standing in herself, and like just had to go through this horrible experience of getting shot and then having to be in a trial to put that man in jail where he belonged for shooting her, and in the public eye, and did that shit. And I admire her. I admire her for being herself and for putting music out there that we can all enjoy, and having to take hate from the internet, because that's what happens when you blow up in this world. And then kind of inspired by your best friend Maddie, also my oldest friend that I have, Bobby V, Mr. Vernier, who was the first person to come out at our high school, and moved to Arizona after college and never looked back, and serves on the city council where he lives, and it is he's a counselor now, but was a teacher for years, and just unapologetically himself in a time when I was not really brave enough to be that, and also has been a role model for kids for 15, 20 years now, just being out and being himself in public life, and I commend him for that. So
Arizona needs that for sure.
Shit, you've never lied about that.
So for me, whose courage I admire, because I came from one, is a single Black mama. Because I was raised by one, and I know I was not an easy person to raise. But she did it the best that she could, and look at me now. But in general, most of the times when I see single Black women, they are beyond successful. They have accomplished multiple degrees. They have raised children to go on to college and all of that, but all while having to face all kinds of adversity, no matter what it is. And I think, as everyone knows, raising a child with someone is no easy feat, but to raise it by yourself and to be able to be involved in your children's life, that's a lot. And so I find the courage of single Black mothers that continue to persist to be very admirable.
Oh yeah,
that's my answer. That's what I'm sticking to.
It's a good one. It's okay.
You know what?
It's a good one. It's okay.
It better be. It better be. Because my mama was. Yeah. So, which one? You got one more? Or no?
I have one more, and it's this is kind of a loose question, and we've talked about it a little bit, but I'm curious. So our two wonderful gentlemen guests. First of all, congratulations. This is the first time we've had close to equal gender. We've had equal gender representation here on the Zodiac Chat Line. The girls have always outnumbered the men prior to this episode. So thank you both for being here.
You're welcome.
But I'm curious, growing up and being socialized as a man, if you felt more pressure to show courage, or felt pressure to show courage, and how you feel about that now. Like, because part of me thinks maybe being pressured to show courage might actually force you to be more courageous when you don't want to be. And maybe that's ultimately a good thing. But I also don't think it's good to force anyone to do anything. So I'm just kind of curious about your thoughts about that.
For me, hell yeah, man. I grew up in the hood. And, the only thing that saved me was my mom. All my cousins were doing dumb shit. I played ball with all of the killers and drug dealers. I lived next door to the killers and drug dealers, went to school with them. So the pressure to not look soft or not look like, I wasn't about the action or whatever, like that shit was there every single day. But because I didn't have a problem with being myself. I didn't have a problem with saying I'm not into that. I didn't have a problem or was worried about not looking lame or whatever. That made me that much more cooler and kind of took some of the pressure off because I never ever ever let anybody, make me feel less than, oh well, Roy don't want to do that. He a square. He lame as fuck. But I was like whatever. But the pressure was still there to feel like, damn, I got to take part in this because I'm not going to look like, I'm tough enough or whatever. So, yeah, as a child, all the time, man.
I don't think I felt that pressure per se. My dad was ex-military, so he flew 4 tours of Vietnam. So we had that father figure and that courageous figure in our house, but he also came from, he's from Arkansas and very, traditional family and family structures where there's the matriarchs and the patriarchs and the women have their role and the men have their role. And so I just remember growing up in a huge family to where, anytime there was like a family reunion or Thanksgiving, all the women were separated in the kitchen. All the men were playing cards and doing whatever until dinner was ready. And then, you know what I'm saying? It was very, what's the word I'm looking for? This misogynistic kind of it's just everybody had those roles. And he's like silent generation / boomer with him and my mom and family. So it was very different back then, but I never felt that anybody in our family really pressured us to or put us in a situation where we felt we had to be more courageous, or they ever pushed you to do something. It was if you did it or you didn't. But they led by example more so than by forcing anything upon us. They would, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. I think it's fascinating what you touched on, Roy, too, that it's so interesting how there's this pressure to behave in a certain way that maybe outwardly looks courageous, but actually the real courage is in being yourself and being able to say, no, that's not for me, that, because that require just standing against a group requires so much more than whatever the group thinks you should be putting out. You know what I mean? That's that's a fascinating little coin there, 2 sides of that, right? And Tanae, I don't know, do you have any thoughts on that or being raised,
I mean, I think that just kind of how I was raised, I didn't necessarily have to be courageous until my mom passed away. And I think that kind of forced me to put on every bit of masculine and feminine role. You know what I mean? The masculine role to protect myself, the feminine role to nurture myself. And so I think just having the courage to work through that kind of loss, kind of forced me probably, when I came out, I was a baby. I was 19 and very masculine and very much a lot of things are very masculine for me. And I don't know if that forced me to be more protective and courageous, just to be able to feel comfortable being out there. And now at my ripe young age, years later, I've learned to balance that out and be just as courageous in my feminine energy. And so, but I think it was just circumstances. I mean, Roy talks about, growing up in a situation where not his big L size, he couldn't have been soft. They would, he had to at least pretend he was a little
always
bit.
his size though. I wasn't always.
I have met, none of you have met Roy in real life. I have met Roy in real life, and I am a midget compared to Roy. He's a ginormous man compared to my small self, even though I think it's awesome that he is that big. If I ever need something, call him a man up.
I need something off a shelf.
Hey man, can you just bench press this real quick?
That's funny.
Oh my goodness. So earlier we mentioned that it is March and it is Women's History Month. And we would like you gentlemen to let us know one or two, leave it up to you, women who are inspirational to you.
You want to go? I'm sorry, Maddie. My bad.
Yeah, my list is probably too long. It would need its own episode. But like the first two that popped in, well, there were three that popped in my mind. One is Brene Brown. I just think the way that she has taught people to hone in on their emotions and to communicate with one another as human beings and open up to one another has been just phenomenal. And she's been fed to the masses in such a large swath that she's reached a lot of people. And so, all Oprah has to do is put you on her book club once and, you're top of the charts. But I find her to be hugely inspirational. AOC is another one. Just standing her ground every goddamn day and standing up against the pale, stale, and male Senate members that are around, 900 years old and still fucking kicking it. But she holds her ground, and she's so smart and so herself all the time. And just trolling them left and right on her Twitter just gives my heart like all the butterflies every day. And then third is Dolly Parton. And if someone doesn't like Dolly Parton, in my mind, there's something wrong with them, and I shouldn't be talking to them anyway. But for someone, I don't think I've ever seen someone who is so unapologetically themselves and 100% themselves all the time, period, and is such a good-natured and good-souled person who constantly gives back to everyone and everything around her. So those were my top three.
I like it. Mr. Roy?
All right. So I have my two.
Okay.
But give me the question again. I want to answer it. I want to give a better answer.
Two inspirational women.
Okay. My mom, because she ended up her and my dad split when I was 10. So seeing her be a single mom of three, raising me in the environment that she did, and then that's why we moved to Georgia for a better life. Seeing her work full time and then go to school full time, and then see her flourish in what she was sacrificing for. So that helped me become a better man. Although her and I had our ups and downs and stuff, I always talk about everything that she's ever taught me or could teach me as a man. And second is my wife, man, just for dealing with my ass. You gotta be strong as hell to.
Shout out Erica. We love her.
Yeah, this shit ain't easy over here. You gotta be tough as hell. Like.
Side note, you guys should follow their TikTok. They are a great comedic duo. It is amazing.
Cosign 100%. Do it. That's awesome. Tanae, who are you shouting out for Women's History Month?
So I'm shouting out this first person because I have followed them from the beginnings of their career on YouTube till they're successful, just everything. That is Issa Rae. She has literally broken the mold for Black women creators everywhere. And she allowed Quinta Brunson to be able to be Quinta Brunson. But Issa Rae started with the Misadventures Off-Grid Black Girl on YouTube, then went to HBO and got Insecure for 5 seasons and left when she was ready. She's done short stories. She's opened up, I think, coffee shops or something. Like, she is just, and the last time she accepted an award, I'm feeling her. She was like, duh, this is mine. You like, that's the energy. I love Issa Rae, great content creator, just amazing overall for Black women everywhere. And then my second person is Brittany Griner. Because and her wife, I'm gonna actually add her wife on that, because on both spectrums, I couldn't imagine being in a Russian prison for that long for some bullshit. But even as her wife, I could imagine knowing that my spouse I may never see this person ever again in my life, and not knowing what they're going through, how they're being treated, taken care of, anything. And all of you know, Brittany Griner is a person of color, and she's quite masculine. So she doesn't, give you the typical woman energy. So you just don't know how she's going to be treated. But the fact that she survived and made it back and is going to play this season for the Mercury, I mean, that in itself to me is probably one of the most inspirational stories. Like, it is just amazing to know that like a Black woman survived some shit like that. Because personally, I was just like, I just really hope she gets back, because we all know that Black women are disposable to a lot of people. And so she's an inspiration. So BG, we glad you back, girl. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead. So just had to do that for her.
I love it. I will shout out tangential to yours, Tanae, Quinta Brunson, who I love and who I think is being very courageous in a very sly way with Abbott Elementary. I don't know if you all are fans, if you've been watching this season, but they're going deep into the whole charter school kind of problematic nature of American schooling. And it's been a fascinating thing to see play out in a 30-minute sitcom. It's like we're sneaking in a little knowledge about why we need the public school system and how important it is to underserved communities and, kids who maybe have behavior challenges or learning disabilities and all kinds of things. And I just, there's incredible stories about, her using budget from her show to give back to the Philadelphia public school system. And also, I think in today's world that is so cynical, it's very brave to be optimistic and positive and happy. And she gives that vibe. Her book, She Memes Well, was very, very funny and just a nice, joyful read. If you guys get a chance, check that out. And also, I will give a shout out to Greta Thunberg, who is 19, y'all. 19. Been in the public eye since she was 15 years old and is like really treating climate like the emergency it is for her generation, and inspiring people my age, people older than me, people her age, people younger than her. And I hope we listen to that generation, guys, because I like the
They're not
earth.
playing. Would they
I'm
call
a
them the
fan.
generation fuck around and find out?
Yep.
Right.
That's what they call that generation, because the truth is they have nothing to lose. They have everything to lose, because they don't have anything to look forward to unless they are like, hey, the planet for us. No, okay.
Yeah.
Those were great, guys. Those were really, really good. So Maddie, do you have to tell the people anything about you if they want to come be entertained by your ticker talks or anything?
I mean, yeah, I haven't made a TikTok in a really long time, but if they want to look me up, it's Matthew P2478, MATTPHU. Yeah, I'm boring, man. Like I don't do it. I don't blog. I don't do videos anymore. I'm like a little hermit these days.
Leave him alone.
Yeah.
Get off my lawn.
He's in his Taurus moon mode now. looking
Right.
to chill out. Leave me alone.
Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna go off camera for 1 second.
All right.
And Mr. Bean, tell us about you, sir.
I mean, I'm literally about to say the same thing as Maddie. Like, I'm boring as well, but my wife's TikTok, I should know the name of it. I don't, because I follow her and it's like I live with you, so I don't know the name of the shit. But
I think it's Erica B. Fit.
I think it's something like that. I don't know. She got like 17 damn Instagram pages and stuff, but
Can people
uh
find you to train with you if they want to? Do you want to talk about
yeah,
that?
yeah,
Okay.
Bean Fit 84, Bean like red bean fit 84, or just type in Optimus Prime and you'll see me. So
So,
serious.
so we
It's some
will
humor on there, a
drop
little fitness on there, all that stuff.
we will drop his information in the description box for you guys below. Maddie and Roy, you guys have an amazing Aries season. You represented your sign very well. Extra spicy. Happy birthday and solar return to you both. May you be blessed with all the energy to light all the fires and burn all the shit down.
Oh
Yes.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
New
All right,
beginnings
guys.
right here.
I'm going
That's
to
right.
say fare thee well. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you guys.
Bye.
Bye,
All
y'all.
right,
We
thank
love you
y'all.
both.
See y'all later.
Yes. Incredible having you guys with us.
Look, he was like, I'm out. Bye. Oh my God, that was amazing. That was
So
really good.
cute.
I'm glad we had that kind of energy on there. We needed that.
Yes.
Good
Yes.
little new energy for this new spring equinox.
That's right. That's right. Yes. So should we talk about that? Let's talk about spring
Yeah,
equinox.
we can
Let's
talk
do it.
about whatever.
Yes. So tomorrow is the spring equinox. It is one of the 2 days of the year where the daytime and the nighttime are equal, hence equinox. And it's the start of spring, babies. We're out of winter starting tomorrow. It's even going to be 55 degrees in Michigan. Shit. I know. It's climate change.
That's about the same temperature down here. Girl, it's been playing games like lows of 20, highs of like they did a meme like spring is from noon to 6. And then and then anytime before that it's winter, anytime after that it's winter. I am really looking forward to this spring equinox. I think that it is a real new year. It is the astrological new year, and it is a time to plant actual seeds and spiritual seeds. You can do all of that. Especially if you have Aries placements. I think this is a really good start all over. Pisces season, we kind of let that just, all of those random delusional emotions, let them be what they are. And Aries season is like, okay, what we doing? How we getting there? How fast are we getting there? You ask an Aries what second place is, they could never tell you. So it's just like Aries season is always on go. That is just like Maddie said, impatience that doesn't exist for him.
Right.
It'd be like that.
Yeah, I think, yes, absolutely. And you're good call bringing up the fact that it's the astrological new year. And I also feel like this particular spring equinox, we have the new moon the very next day in Aries, and this Pluto transition. This is a powerful time to manifest. Like this week is really going to be the Aquarius new moon was good this year too. This is a very juicy week for manifesting and really thinking about a longer game than just, your usual new moon, 1 month kind of intentions. Like I encourage you all to think really big. Think and think about what do you want the next 10 years to look like? What big things are you working toward? And Aries is not the type to break them down into digestible chunks and figure out how to do it slowly, and save that for Taurus season. Allow yourself to just, get your kid crayon out and draw the picture of what you want it to be.
Fireworks.
Yeah, do it.
That is what an Aries is. It's like setting off a firework.
Yeah, jump with both feet in,
it
jump
is
head first, whatever.
And with the Aries new moon, I do talk a lot about knowing your rising sign, because that is important with how your chart is laid out and where these signs end up falling in in your chart, in your houses. For me in particular, Aries is in my 10th house. So a lot of the things that I need to work on and manifest for this Aries season has to do with career and ambitions and anything that is ruled in the 10th house. So just make sure that when you are looking to that, look at that part and really hone in on that, so that you can put the focus towards that. I mean, if it's in your first house, I mean, you have the perfect chart. Technically, it's the way it should be. So if it's in your first house, it's about your sense of self, how you're presenting to the outside world. If it's in your 7th house, God bless you. Your chart is just the opposite. And it is learning how your relationships relate to you individually. So just really take the time. Like Cassie said, it's super juicy. We like juicy on the show. We like juicy. Okay. Juicy everything. Okay. But anyway.
Yes.
If
So
spring
equinox.
So we love the spring equinox. And then all of, like Cassie said, all the Aries energy that we are right now. Mercury's in Aries. So your language is going to be spicy. So
don't hold your tongue. F it.
yeah, I mean, just let people know, like, don't ask, or you will get the spiciest answer possible. So just let it be known. But yeah, the spring, this new moon is going to be nice. And it's the first of two. We will have a second new moon in Aries, and that will be an eclipse in April, but we'll talk about that later. But just know that this one, y'all, this is like coming out the gate hot. You know what I mean? Like right here, it's like the sun, the moon's like, we here. And it's off like a rocket. And then, like you said, the rest of the week, Pluto in Aquarius, and then Mars into Cancer.
Yeah, it's going to be, things are shifting. Yeah, things are shifting, guys. Like, it's been, the beginning of this year has been about wrapping up some stuff, wrap up the old cycles. We had Saturn move in to Pisces 2 weeks ago now, between this last episode and this episode. And that ended a 3-year cycle that started in 2020. So we're moving on. We're going into the future, and
yes.
It's spicy there.
No, and that's actually really good that you mentioned Saturn moving into Pisces, because Saturn was in Capricorn and in Aquarius, both original ruled by Saturn. So they were very restrictive times when Saturn was in Capricorn and in Aquarius. Now that it's moving into Pisces, it's a little bit freer than it would have been. It's watery. It's really not supposed to be there, but we need it there with all of the other things that are going on.
Yeah, for sure. So since we are, moving into Aries season, let's check in with some of our favorite Aries season celebs.
Hey, okay. Yeah. I'm super excited. I was like, found them. Okay. 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 So my first one, I'm going to give a shout out to her because, man, she has done a lot for hip hop and for the queer community. We're gonna shout out the ever so pregnant Brat. She is an Aries, and her wife Jessica are pregnant. And if you follow either of their TikToks, it is so cute to watch the brat go through pregnancy. And I love that and she's a little bit older. So she's in her 40s doing this. More power to you. I just love watching her go through this. She did launch also, I think, a hair care brand as well called Kaleidoscope. But Brat, man, we love you. You've been rocking since late 90s.
Yeah.
So I want to give her a shout out for Aries season because we love her. She is so fabulous and
hell
so very
yeah.
pregnant.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I wonder now, has she said publicly, or have she and her is her and her partner
wife?
Married? Her wife?
Yeah,
okay.
They had a public wedding.
Good. That's great. I didn't know if they were married or not.
Yeah, no, they're married, but she never came out, I don't think.
Sure.
I think it was just like, she is.
No, I was gonna ask, did they come out and say anything along the lines of, why she versus her partner is pregnant. I just wonder because I have a lesbian couple friend of mine where one partner they both really wanted a baby. One really wanted to be pregnant, couldn't get it to work, was having lots of trouble, and they did some testing and found out it probably wasn't for her. And so the other partner, who didn't really want to be pregnant at all, was the one who ended up having the baby. And I just wondered because I've seen a few pictures of Debrat pregnant, and I'm like, I wonder if she thought she was going to get into that situation.
I think that was her choice, and I also think that her wife has a child, like an older child previously, and probably just was like. And her wife has gone through a weight loss journey, and I think her wife just didn't want to do her body like that no more.
Respect.
And I ain't mad. I'm not mad, girl. Listen, you want to keep it snatched, you live your best life, because kids are not going to help that. But I think that was the circumstances that, the Debrat had never had a child, and her wife has at least have one child, I believe. And I think her daughter's like probably in her late teens, 20, like she was. Okay, so I think her wife was like, girl, that's all you, boo-boo. But I'm gonna be here and I'm gonna support you. And
yeah, that's great.
They're so cute. They are so, and they call each other beautiful. Oh my God. It's just Black love. I love it. Black, queer, lesbian love. I'm here for it all day.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Me too. No, that's great. So my first shout out for Aries season is to Nancy Pelosi, who is, of course, legendary first female speaker of the House. I know she is not a perfect politician, guys. I know this. None of the Democrats are. I know this, but Nancy is a fucking badass legislator, man. Like, she passed some laws in her day with some tight margins, with some fucking fuckery in the House. And she did that shit. And she stepped away from that. She was just like, no, I am done. Aries shit, called it on her terms. She was like, I'm gonna sit this out. I'm done being in leadership, but thank you. I'm still gonna be here in the back. Call me when you need me, Hakeem, but you won't need me because you're doing great on your own. So shout out to her. And that
thank you for your service and time. Yeah.
For real, man.
Yeah.
Like breaking glass ceilings.
Listen. So my next one, even though she was born in Memphis, she was raised in what? Detroit. We gonna give it up for the fabulous Queen of Soul, Aretha Franklin, because what she said, pay me my money in cash before I perform. My purse is coming with me on stage, and you gonna give me all the money. I read that she, in her contract, she could get up to $25,000 in cash in her hand. Before this, I was like, but that's some real Aries badass shit. Like, you gonna pay me my money before I perform. You gonna count it in front of me, and I'm gonna put it right in my pocketbook. And as I'm performing, they're my purse. I said, give me some RESPECT. Go ahead, Aretha. Okay, I'm done.
That's incredible. She's like, I'm not waiting for a check. Fuck you.
Give me that cold hard cash money.
Yes, that's perfect. All right. So next on my list, Mariah Carey. A icon, fucking
Aries.
Oh yeah. Refuses to sing other people's songs because why is she going to do that? And why is she going to let anyone else own the sync rights to her fucking shit? Like, and she has made a mountain of money by keeping her shit hers and doing her. And I love it. And she doesn't have to do shit for the rest of her life if she doesn't want to. And I don't think she does do shit that she doesn't want to do. She only does what the fuck she's going to do. And, every now and then she'll give a performance and people will be like, it's lackluster. Bitch, why should she give us anything at all? Like, we're lucky to see her standing around up there. Like, she didn't have to do that.
Listen, every Christmas you already know what's coming on. Let her run her check. That's it.
Yeah.
And remember, she the OG baby mama. Fuck everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
She is number one. out of
Yep.
27. Anyways, I just wait. We love you, Mariah.
Right.
Because every song is so, yeah, she's just blown the charts. And like you said, like she can sing la di da da da. And if you don't like it, don't pay for it. But that's what she gonna do.
But someone's gonna. I will.
So my next Aries created a massive uproar because she's a woman of color and wanted to play a fictional character. I am talking about Haley. I'm talking about Haley Bailey, Miss New 2023 Ariel Little Mermaid. Can't wait till it comes out. That's gonna be amazing. But she broke the internet because people were like, she's black, she can't be a mermaid. Have y'all heard her sing? I just want to know. Has anybody? Because according to the director of the movie, she auditioned and nobody could touch her, so she got the role. Weird.
Also, if you're spending your actual time on this planet arguing about what race a fucking mermaid can or cannot be or would or wouldn't be, just go jump in the middle of the ocean and never come back. Just don't. Because what? Like, people will get mad over anything. It's crazy. It's crazy.
But when the trailer came out, I will say I was loving all the little black girls that saw her and was just like, oh, mommy. That was amazing. Great job, Hallie, being the first. And girl, continue to sing because so good. So good. Like her voice is just like, that's going to be a really good mermaid like movie. She is going to kill it. I am so looking forward to that.
A show. My last Aries celeb for the season is Jill Scott, who is a fucking queen. Just lots of pipes in our lists this month.
Interesting. Yeah.
Right. Jill. And it's shocking either that, I mean, like Mariah Carey, Jill Scott. I mean, these are like voices. Like
Aretha Franklin, right?
Aretha Franklin. Like we're talking like the back of the room is feeling it too, right? And Jill Scott, I'm just looking at her. She's returning back to Philadelphia to raise funds for the youth there and hosting a fundraiser at the Met. And I just love her because she also wrote one of the iconic Aries anthems, Hate on Me. If you've never heard that song, that's an Aries just in a 3.5 minutes, Hate on Me. I'm gonna do me. Like,
listen, that is
don't be mad, baby.
You can. She said it too. She said, "You can hate on me."
Mm-hmm.
Look, it is so poetic. I need to look up that song because every line is just, girl. She said, I gave you.
I always think of you too, because remember me, you, and Chris in your car on your birthday.
Oh, shit! I'm just telling you, that's how I feel too. Like Cat Williams said, I need 20 more haters by the summertime. Come on, now, y'all just fuel for my confidence. Thank you. That's exactly what it is. I want to give a quick honorable mention to one more Aries, young M.A., for being a masked queer woman of color and just rapping the hardcore rap, rapping the lesbian shit I want to hear. Like, thank you, girl. Shout out, fam. Appreciate it. That's it.
Oh, yeah.
So we got a question. You ready?
We do, yes.
Okay, so it is, with all of the upcoming transits, are there certain things and placements we should pay attention to in our own charts? What and where? So this is referring to, we have Saturn in Pisces, Pluto in Aquarius, and Cancer and Mars. So these are which are really big transits that this question is speaking of. And, what should we pay attention to? Cassie?
So I would say, and this can kind of go for really any astrological transit you hear of, and if you're like, okay, well, how does this relate to me personally? So, look at where Saturn, Mars, and Pluto are in your own chart. I will say of those three, Pluto in Aquarius is going to have the biggest effect on all of us because Pluto transits deal with generations and they deal with changes on a scale that is global. And their influence is really not, unless you're somebody who has a lot of Scorpio placements, a lot of 8th house placements, you probably don't feel Pluto too acutely as an influence in your personal chart, but it reflects the generation you are part of. And when Pluto changes signs in the sky, it really affects all of us. So I will say that, people with a lot of Scorpio placements and a lot of 8th house energy will probably be experiencing even more transformation out of a Pluto transit than the rest of us. For the Saturn in Pisces and Mars in Cancer, certainly look to where Saturn is in your own chart and Mars as well. And also if you have any Cancer or Pisces or Scorpio energy, because really all the water signs I think are strongly impacted by those two shifts. But you, if you're somebody who has like Mars in Capricorn, this could be a difficult time for you because Capricorn is Cancer's opposite. So with Mars in the sky in Cancer, its MO is the opposite. You normally feel it. Or if you have Aries or Libra, because those two would be square to it. And Saturn in Pisces, if you have Saturn in Virgo, you might have some struggles with this period because Virgo is Pisces opposite. Same if you have a Gemini Saturn or a Sagittarius Saturn, because those are also going to form squares to it. And Cancer rules the 4th house. So having Mars in Cancer could mean 4th house is our domestic kind of house. It rules our home and our familial kind of roots, and not really sibling relationships, more the 3rd house, but like our parent relationships. And so having Mars there may interject a little conflict into that area. And if you have a lot of 4th house energy, you just be mindful of that. And then Pisces rules the 12th house. So Saturn in Pisces is kind of a wild, that's kind of a wild placement in general. And that's another one a little bit like Pluto, where it kind of impacts all of us in a certain way. And I think what we're all going to kind of see over the next couple of years is a lot of the structures that we thought were really solid and stable are actually very much an illusion. So
the government,
be on the ready for that. What do you think?
I think that I'm going to really have to pray because a lot of these transits are hitting real hard on all of my placements.
Yeah.
Especially this Pluto in Aquarius. Yeah. So the best part I think about it is that because I have 8th house energy and I'm comfortable enough with transformation and upheaval and change, then Godspeed. But I encourage everyone to adapt to the change as best as you can. It's like either change or be dragged, and nobody really wants to be dragged. I mean, it's like, unless you're dressing up in drag, but like to be dragged, like it's just not fun. So I think that you should always pay attention. Cassie literally explained everything quite well, that you should just pay attention to where these are in your own personal chart. And again, start with your rising sign and find out where all of these placements are going to hit in for you. I have Saturn in Virgo, so Saturn in Pisces is gonna be a challenge for me. Right? So again, I go back to prayer. Right? Okay, so now you see what I'm talking about. Exactly. It's fine. It's fine. Everybody that knows me knows that I'm fine. That I that I will adapt and move forward. And the person, it's crazy because I was laying here thinking in 20 years, when Pluto finally leaves Aquarius and goes into Pisces, I, in my head, have imagined the transformation that will occur for me because I will be going from my 40s to my 60s. Yes, I'm in my 40s. So that transformation is kind of just as drastic as your 20s to your 40s, because
Sure.
it's like early adulthood into middle adulthood, and now it's middle adulthood into late adulthood. And that is just like, those are big transitions, because a lot of things, like normal typical things like focus on career is like not really what you're focused on. You're kind of focused on long-term planning and retirement and spending time with friends and family and all that, which are also like Aquarius-ish themes, are like later in life. They're not necessarily earlier. So I would just say take every day as it comes. The best days may be your worst days. And I know that sounds funny, but I think it will be. It may be your best days of growth. And fighting change never stops the change. It just makes it harder for you. And Saturn in Pisces, the lessons may not be as difficult, but they will probably be a lot more emotional.
Yeah, they also may be full-on fabrications. Like, I mean, truly, like Saturn in Pisces is a very peculiar
That's
transit.
a great word to use, peculiar, because that's exactly what it feels like.
It's Pisces is a land and a realm of illusion, and
that none of us can reach.
Right. And
Except
Saturn is not comfortable in Saturn's not really comfortable in any of the water signs. Pisces probably the least. And it's hard for structured Saturn to realize that, chaos is the way of the universe. It is. Everything devolves to chaos. Things break down, systems fail. And that's what happens. That's what keeps the world spinning. And Pisces knows that, and they're quite comfortable in that in between realm of, is this fake or real? Who even knows? But like our banking system isn't. So this is
because money ain't real, y'all.
But this is a dicey. This really is this couple of years letting go of the Pluto and Capricorn period and moving into Pluto and Aquarius. That's just gonna be a lot of forced change. Aquarius is going to say, nope, we're not doing this anymore. Get on out. And our human desire is for stability and someone to come in and give us a rule or a plan or tell us it's going to be okay. And Saturn and Pisces is going to be like, I'm out, bitch.
What rules? Is this a rule? Is this a boundary?
And I anticipate this first couple years of Pluto and Aquarius may be the most difficult of this transit, because it's going to feel very, very unsteady and uncertain. But guess what? Nothing's certain. So get used to it, babe.
Guys, I would highly recommend either journaling or documenting all of these periods right now, just so you can look back and see where you need growth, where you need reminders, any of that, because it will be so much change. Where everybody is now, it will look completely different a year from now. 6 months from now, nothing will be the same. And it's very interesting that all of this upheaval has started like the beginning of this year, and the past 2 weeks, I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Because it was just like boom, 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 boom. All of a sudden, all of these things, including Elon taking over Twitter, that again, fuckery. You know what I mean? So we got you though. We here with y'all. We going through it with y'all. And trust and believe it's not gonna be any easier for us. We're just trying to warn you ahead of time. And with that said, because we are in the new moon in Aries, and if you follow tarot, the fool's journey begins at 0. And a lot of people say it represents Aries, also Aquarius, just depends, but it is the beginning of the journey. So I decided we're going to do the soul's journey lesson card today, because why not get a lesson from the soul at the beginning? So happy spring equinox, happy new moon. Get outside, guys, once you can. Get outside. Just notice the leaves, the blooms, all of those things. Water yourself, water your soul, plant your seeds. Come on now. And what do we have for today?
Who's coming to tell us a message? Ooh, someone flipped out. They were ready to be seen.
That. Honesty. Now that's interesting. I can't always expect the truth from others, but I can expect it from myself. Well, now that's an interesting. I think that courage and honesty go hand in hand. I think you have to get honest to be courageous.
Absolutely.
Being truthful with others is a slippery business. You are expected to tell and expect to be told white lies. No one wants their feelings hurt, but sometimes a strong dose of reality is needed. No one can tell you definitively in what circumstances an untruth would be better, but honesty is usually the best policy. You and only you know in your heart when the right time is to be totally honest. The only time you must be absolutely truthful is when you are addressing yourself. You must at all times present yourself authentically to those around you. Only by being yourself do you draw in people and the circumstances that you most need to learn from. Well, I tell you what. Did we not mention this a couple times prior to? These cards be listening. I don't think y'all understand. Think y'all understand, like the honesty of being authentic you of yourself literally speaks to Aries. Like that's exactly what Aries is about right there, is just authentically being themselves. And I love it. I'm here for
and
it.
I think it's fascinating because at the top of the hour, when we're talking about, you know, a lot of the anti-trans, anti-gay, anti-woman bills, all of these things are almost invariably rooted in this just pathological dishonesty that these politicians have with themselves. The lieutenant governor of Tennessee, who's out leaving eggplant emojis on gay dudes' thirst traps, but he's, you know, legislating LGBTQ plus people's very existence. Like the cognitive dissonance required by these right wingers is fucking incredible. And honesty is the healing serum to get rid of this bullshit. Like,
just say you don't like what you don't understand. Just say that. Just be blatant honest. Don't cloak it into a bill. Don't cloak it into using woke as turning it as a negative thing. The truth. Just be honest. Say, I don't like y'all because I don't get it. I think it's weird. Okay, well, you can think it's weird. I think it's weird that you married your sister, but hey, here we are. I'm just saying, like, honesty. And you know what? That has been, you know what? This is what I have found. The more authentic you are of yourself, the more it irks people who are not, because they are mad that they can't be them authentic selves. You will irk the shit out of people who do not understand authenticity. And I am the type of person where I don't be around people who are not authentic. My spirit does not allow it. I'm just like, cool. And I'm over here. It just doesn't, it's too hard. It's too hard not to be yourself. Go be somebody. Don't, why? It's just too difficult. I like me. I'm amazing. Shit. Fuck it.
Hello.
And if you know me, you agree. So we want to thank you guys so much for joining us on this lovely Aries new moon Aries season show. Roy and Maddie, thank you. You guys are the best for coming on and talking with us about courage. Guys, I encourage you to have the courage to go to your local governments and stand up for shit that ain't right. And speak out and help save our planet. Take it one day at a time, because that's all we got, you know?
Amen.
As always, guys, it's all love. And we out here.
Peace.